Justice reversed. Whether reversed or upright, justice deals with the idea of karma and the law of cause and effect, stating that all events, and all people, are connected. Not everything you are dealing with, however, is a direct result of your own actions or karma. Sometimes you will be called upon to deal with the results of the actions of someone you care about, and this can sometimes be as difficult and demanding as it is when you're up against something that is completely of your own making. In reversal, you are especially encouraged to know whether a given issue is yours or someone else's. Don't blame yourself unnecessarily. General, in reverse, this card can mean that you are feeling currently as though something happening in your life is particularly unjust. You may well be correct. However, there may not be a great deal that you can do about it, and if there is not, it will be important to accept reality and not chafe too much. Work. When justice comes up in reverse in the context of a work question, you may indeed be being treated unfairly in your workplace. However, there may not be a great deal which you can do to change this in the short term. Think critically and logically about what is happening and do not allow emotion to make you cut off your nose to spite your face. Even when reversed, this card carries the warning that you need to be sure that your work/life balance is where it needs to be. Too much emphasis on either aspect of life throws the other into imbalance. Seek the best advice you can find before making any major changes with regard to your working life. Yes, things may be unjust. However, the solution may be of longer term than simply leaving or creating a confrontation about it. Slow down. Love. When you draw justice in reverse, in the context of a love relationship, it can be very important that you look carefully at exactly what you are bringing about in this relationship. You may feel that you have been treated unfairly when this card appears, and this may be the case. However, it's important to bear in mind that such things rarely come about in a vacuum. How might you have contributed to the current situation or current difficulties, if you are currently in a relationship? When you draw this card in reverse and you are looking for love, know that although you may feel as though you are ready for a long-term, loving relationship, that there may be ways in which you are standing in your own way to prevent love from coming to you. For example, if you are too eager to make changes to your own life, in order to fit with a partner, you may in fact need to develop stronger boundaries and a stronger sense of self before a true, loving, long-term relationship will come about for you. Meditation on these matters can be helpful now. Finances. With justice in reverse showing, this is unlikely to be a good time for gambling. Be cautious and prudent with your money, and see to it that, particularly with cash, you are careful where you put it and who has access to it. If you are waiting on an answer to financial issues and questions that must come from someone else/an institution, unfortunately you might have to wait a while longer. Try to be patient. Health. Even when justice is drawn in reversal, in the context of health, we are reminded that it is important to stay in the moment and to pay attention to how we are endeavoring to keep a sense of balance in our lives. Moderation is not just for monks, it's an important part of living a sensible and healthy life. This is a good and an important time to seek advice from more experienced people and different healers if you are having health difficulties. Spirituality. Regardless of what is going on in your life, and even if you feel that you have been absolutely unfairly treated, this is a time to work on being centered and grounded. Your anger and sense of maltreatment are not going to help you. If you are really having a tough time dealing with what life has challenged you with now, you may find the writings of the current Dalai Lama very helpful and inspirational. Increase your compassion, for yourself, and for the world. You are not being singled out for torment. Playing cards first entered Europe in the late 14th century, most likely from Mamluk Egypt, with suits of batons or polo sticks, coins, swords, and cups. These suits were very similar to modern tarot divination decks and are still used in traditional Italian, Spanish and Portuguese playing card decks. The first documented tarot packs were recorded between 1440 and 1450 in Milan, Ferrara, Florence, and Bologna, when additional trump cards with allegorical illustrations were added to the common four-suit pack. These new decks were called Carte de Triomphe, triumph cards, and the additional cards known simply as Triomphe, which became trumps in English. The earliest documentation of Triomphe is found in a written statement in the court records of Florence, in 1440, regarding the transfer of two decks to Sigismondo Pandolfo Malatesta. The oldest surviving tarot cards are the 15 or so Visconti Sforza tarot decks painted in the mid-15th century for the rulers of the Duchy of Milan. A lost tarot-like pack was commissioned by Duke Filippo Maria Visconti and described by Marciano da Tortona probably between 1418 and 1425, since the painter he mentions, Michelino da Bisazzo, returned to Milan in 1418, while Marciano himself died in 1425. He described a 60-card deck with 16 cards having images of the Greek gods and suits depicting 4 kinds of birds. The 16 cards were regarded as trumps since in 1449 Jacopo Antonio Marcello recalled that the now deceased duke had invented a novum quadam et exquisitum triumphorum genus, or a new and exquisite kind of triumphs. Other early decks that also showcased classical motifs include the Solabusca and Boiardo Viti decks of the 1490s. In Florence, an expanded deck called Minchiate was used. This deck of 97 cards includes astrological symbols and the 4 elements, as well as traditional tarot motifs. Although a Dominican preacher inveighed against the evil inherent in cards in a sermon in the 15th century, no routine condemnations of tarot were found during its early history. Because the earliest tarot cards were hand-painted, the number of the decks produced is thought to have been small. It was only after the invention of the printing press that mass production of cards became possible. The expansion of tarot outside of Italy, first to France and Switzerland, occurred during the Italian Wars. The most important tarot pattern used in these two countries was the Tarot of Marseilles of Milanese origin.